Hello, I'm Greg Esnouf from the 2009 Fires Taskforce. I'd like to give you the latest update on what's been happening in the Royal Commission over the last few weeks. As I do this update, the public hearings are about to come to a close. This will be the end of the public hearing phase for the Royal Commission. Over recent weeks, the Commission have heard evidence on a number of topics. They've heard evidence on systemic issues of aerial firefighting, communications, information flow and resource management. And they've heard some of those witnesses were CFA people. We've also heard evidence on stay or go from a number of people. Professor Hanmer from RMIT, two overseas experts, and also from Bruce Esplin, the Emergency Services Commissioner. And that evidence has now been completed. And they've also heard evidence on volunteer issues and organisational structure from a number of witnesses, including Lex DeMann, the General Manager for Yarra area, Andrew Ford, the CEO of Victorian Volunteer Fire Brigades Victoria, some volunteers who gave evidence about their role as volunteers, Mick Burke, CEO of CFA, and Penny Armitage, the Secretary of the Department of Justice. Also, two experts who were called by the Royal Commission gave evidence on the types of organisational structures that were needed for emergency management, and their evidence was fascinating. CFA's last witness in the Royal Commission this week was the Chief Officer, Russell Rees. Russell was recalled to give evidence, or more evidence, on his role on the 7th of February and also on other matters. For this appearance, Russell was represented by independent counsel Julian Burnside, which is a legal process where a person who believes they may be significantly criticised can apply for and be granted separate legal representation. CFA supported that process and provided ongoing support to Russell and his counsel during his evidence this week. The separate legal representation is not related to Russell's recent resignation as Chief Officer. It's a totally unrelated matter. Other witnesses that have given evidence over the last couple of weeks is the former Chief Commissioner of Police, Christine Nixon, and the Minister for Police and Emergency Services, Bob Cameron, who were questioned on their role on the day and other issues related to emergency management. Evidence has also been completed and submissions made by all of the parties on the topics of fuel management, roadside clearing and insurance and the fire services levy, and the commissioners now will retire to consider what findings they might make on all of those topics. Over the rest of May, the Commission will hear submissions from various parties on the remaining topics that are yet to be completed. That includes all of the systemic issues of aerial firefighting, firefighter safety, mapping, communications, resource mapping and information flow. It also includes submissions from all of the parties on stay or go and also on organisational structure. Those submission processes will be completed by the end of May, the 26th of May at this stage. And then the Commissioners will retire. There will be no more public hearings and the Commissioners will retire to write their final report, which at this stage is due on the 31st of July or earlier. The Commission will also complete its hearings into the investigations into the cause and circumstances of the individual deaths. And those hearings are generally held in a confidential private manner and aren't video streamed, and sometimes are held without the press being able to report on them due to the sensitivities of those matters. The Commissioners complete all of their hearings on the 26th of May and they will then retire to consider and write their final report. And the final report is due to be completed and presented to the Government by the 31st of July, and that will end the Royal Commission process. Apart from the Royal Commission, there's already some criminal proceedings occurring on the Delburn fire, where a committal hearing has been held in Morwell over the last few weeks, and there's been 20 CFA witnesses present evidence to that committal hearing. and at the end of that hearing the magistrate will make a decision as to whether that matter goes to trial or not. Committal hearings are also scheduled for the Churchill fire and for the Eaglehawk fire in the next few weeks. The task force will continue to provide updates as the Commission hearings continue, with daily updates on CFA Connect when there are hearings that we can report on, and also video blogs from time to time on key matters. I'd like to remind everybody about the welfare support arrangements that CFA has in place. If you personally or have a person close to you who is affected by the Commission who wants some support or advice, please contact through your region the welfare people, or the Peter Davis in the task force can also help out, so please feel free to contact Peter Davis. Thanks for taking the time to listen to this update.